The North American Motorized Bicycle Licensing Association presents The Wave. As a new motorized bicyclist, it may come as some surprise that you have certain responsibilities with regard to your left hand that you may not know about. When out and about, it is customary to form a wave to your fellow riders. NAMBLA officially approves of the following waves. Thumbs up. Hey, you there. Deuces high. Deuces low. The tickler. Hail to the Queen, and the dandy lad. Man, someone really messed up my mirrors. Alright, there's no one behind us, so let's get this fixed right quick. Oh, that's a good view. That's a crappy view, but I can't do anything about it. Well, hello once again, YouTube stranger. I'm taking you to K-Part today, where since my return, or since before my return, they've actually repaved a big chunk of K-Part between this, which is 36th, and it goes all the way to 84th. It's a really smooth, flat road. 45, no lights, no stop signs, no nothing. So today I'm going to talk about a story which has kind of made the rounds on social media a fair bit over the past couple of years, especially since 2008. We'll talk about the Charles Brown / Franz Stigler incident, which took place in 1943, and I'll get to the reason why we're talking about this shortly. But yeah, 1943. Charles Brown was a B-17 pilot. He and his crew had been sent into Germany on a bombing run, and their aircraft had just been absolutely trashed by anti-aircraft fire and things like that. And they had 2 engines on fire. The tail was shot up. Everything was just going wrong. They turned around to leave, but they could not leave very quickly. They only had 2 engines working, so they were at a serious disadvantage. So the Luftwaffe, they send Franz Stigler up to kind of finish the job. So Franz gets up there, and he sees this B-17, and he kind of realizes these guys are, wherever they land this plane, they're not coming back. He doesn't open fire. He tries to get them to land in Germany, and they refuse. They didn't quite understand his hand signals at the time. They couldn't see him very well. He tries to get him to land in Switzerland, where he knows the bomber won't get turkeys again, where he knows the bomber won't get used for spare parts or any things like that, and they still refuse. So they keep going, and he basically escorts them out of German airspace. Here we go. Here's K-Part. Really nice road. Oh man, this is nice. Yeah, Franz Stigler, he sticks with them, he escorts them, and since the AA guns, they can see that there's a German aircraft up. Of course, their course of action is not to fire into mixed aircraft. So Stigler essentially escorts them to safety. And years later, Charles Brown is starting to talk about this incident, well into the late 80s, 1990s, and he really starts looking for this German pilot who did this. And it turns out, he gets in touch, the former West German Luftwaffe, with whom Stigler would eventually fly, and he finds out. He gets a letter from Stigler saying, yeah, that was me. It turns out Stigler has been living in Canada the whole time. So the two of them meet in the late 90s and become really good friends, and eventually both of them pass away in 2008. So what does this have to do with motorcyclists waving at each other, though, you might ask? Ask yourself, what do you really have in common with someone else? the people that you really have the most in common with, I would say at least, are people with whom you share considerable risk. Motorcyclists share a lot of risks. We're not the most visible vehicles on the road. We're not the most well-liked vehicles on the road, certainly. You would have to create a fundamental shift in driving attitudes in the United States to make motorcycling safer here, which is not something I think that could be easily accomplished through legislation. But if you're a pilot in the 1940s or 1930s, you share a lot of risks with other pilots. I mean, flying today is pretty safe. Flying then, yeah, there wasn't as much traffic, but your aircraft still suffered from reliability problems, and you were at war, for crying out loud. You had to deal with anti-aircraft guns, you had to deal with enemy planes all the time. Plus there was all the normal everyday problems with flying a plane. For one, it was incredibly cold, they weren't very well heated. So yeah, why wave to other motorcyclists? It's because we share the same risks. Who is your friend, you gotta wonder? If you see a motorcyclist on the side of the road in trouble, would you expect a driver to stop for them, or would you expect another rider to do it? You'd probably expect another rider to do it. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later, YouTube stranger.